Proposition 2 is also a bond, which would provide for housing for mental health. In 2004, California voters approved Proposition 63, which is also known as the Mental Health Services Act, or MHSA, which provided funding for county mental health services by increasing the income tax paid by people with an income over $1 million a year. Counties are responsible for providing mental health care for people that lack private health insurance, and some counties also provide for other housing, substance abuse treatment, and other services for those suffering mental illness. The legislature passed the No Place Like Home Act. This act authorized $2 billion in bonds for use by counties for permanent supportive housing to house people who are eligible for treatment under Prop 63 and are homeless or at risk of chronic homelessness. The bonds were to be paid off with interest over 30 years using money from the revenue raised by Prop 63. No bonds were issued because the state had to ask for a court decision that the legislation with it was in the scope of Prop 63 and extending housing to people with substance abuse and other issues rather than simply for severely mentally ill patients. The court has to determine if the voters must approve the bond, and the court decision is pending. So what Prop 2 would do is allow the state to sell up to $2 billion in bonds to help pay for the new mental health housing program, amends the provisions of Prop 63, and authorize payments of up to $140 million from the Prop 63 funds to pay for those bonds. So the budget effect is that it wouldn't increase the cost to taxpayers because that money is already being provided for, but more money would be available for housing the mentally ill, which would be taken from the fund for the county mental health services. The folks who are for this say that Prop 2 will have no effect on the state budget. The new mental health housing program will be paid for using the money they already get, and more money would be available for mental health housing. The folks who are against it say the county should make the decision when it comes to housing for people with severe mental illnesses, and Prop 2 would help home builders instead of people with mental illnesses. So that's Proposition 2.